This is our town.
Welcome.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 208 of Value Town. I'm ChanmanV, and we got two special guests today to talk about all the things that happened this week. We've got Ant back, who hasn't been on the show for a while, so it's always great to have you back. How you been, dude?
I've been pretty good, man.
Yeah?
Just relaxing and ready for this new Hearthstone year.
Oh yeah, we're definitely all ready for it, and this period is like the hardest right now, having to just like wait before announcement or just like any kind of teasers and things like that. But we also got Tom Matthiesen joining as well, who was on a few weeks ago, and those you might not know Tom as well as Ant. Sorry, Ant is a player streamer, a pro player streamer. You guys know that already. Tom, though, you might not know as well, but he's a writer journalist for InVen. InVen Global, right?
Yes.
You've definitely caught
unfortunately do not speak Korean. Yes, I don't know. Maybe one day.
That's true. Yeah. You don't have somebody who's translating all your articles or transcribing all your articles. No, but you've definitely seen one of Tom's articles, if it's posted on Reddit or whatever. So
I hope so. Yeah, and if not, here's a shameless plug, right?
That's right. But no, glad to have you guys on this week, and we're gonna be talking Brawliseum. Obviously, that was like one of the biggest things that happened this week. I've got a couple birthdays, one for Hearthstone and one for Ant as well. So happy birthday, Ant!
Are we gonna sing? Are we gonna sing?
I was hoping so. That's why I came on.
We could sing. Wow. Well, I'm sorry that you came on for that reason, because that's probably not going to be a good reason to come on. That might be torture more than it is anything else. But yeah, so lastly, we're going to be talking about just a couple of villains announced. So a little more of a teaser as to what might be happening in the expansion, or probably more so the PvE stuff than the actual cards and stuff. I mean, they'll probably show up in the cards as well, but I'm sure it has a little bit more thematically to what the PvE will be. At the end, Q&A, as always. We'll be taking some from Twitter or Twitch chat. Go ahead and tweet those at ValueTownGG. We've gotten a couple on Twitter already and a couple in email, or one in email. So we'll definitely read those out. I think we'll have a good amount of time for Q&A, so have those ready definitely today. All right, but our week in Hearthstone. So what have you guys been up to in terms of Hearthstone? Did you play the Brawliseum? Did you watch the Brawliseum? Did you ladder? Like, what have you guys been up to?
I actually watched Fino play Brawliseum a lot.
Okay.
The Shark deck was pretty sweet, so it was a good watch for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching Fino too, but did he kind of progress through a bunch of different decks, or was he just using the same one I was watching the same deck over and over and over and just farmed the whole time?
I'm not sure, but when I was watching, he only played the rogue deck. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, it was pretty sweet to watch.
I think everybody was playing the rogue deck. By the end probably. Of it. It was just crazy. Like, but Tom, did you get a chance to play it at all, or no?
Yeah, so I'm being the filthy net decker I am. I heard that Malaga's Rogue was doing pretty well, at least at first, right? So I remember that one player was playing Malaga's Rogue at the Winter Champs. So I went to the decklist page, quickly copied Bunny Hopper's Rogue deck and copied it and pasted it and brawled. But he was playing Pirate Warrior or Pirate Rogue.
Oh, so that total nub.
I was playing the Brawl.
That total
yeah, and I was so prepared, like, okay, if I get a decent amount of gold, I'll do a rerun. But nope, I had Pirate Rogue and it went down 0-3, and so I had one fun run of 3 games. And then I went back to saving gold for the new expansion,
Yeah, I ended up net negative on the whole gold thing, because I wish you could have probably played Pirate Rogue in the first hours of the whole thing, but I didn't get a chance to play Brawliseum until later in the week when basically the meta was figured out. But I didn't go net decking, so my first 3 runs were terrible. I mean, I just got beat by more efficiently built rogue decks. Even though I kind of knew that rogue would be good just based on the hero power and the spirit, was super good. But but I didn't really have it refined until about 4 times into it. So I was already down about 600 gold by the time I started, actually turning out that positive. But yeah,
I saved the most gold here. I'm gonna be the most ready for the new expansion.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it was fun. Those of you that didn't play the brawl this week, it was a special kind of heroic style brawl where you buy into it for 150 gold, and it's just like Arena. Try to get to 12 wins. You get to build your own deck. And the whole gimmick to it was that it was called miniature warfare. So every card you play, every minion you played was a 1/1, including tokens that are generated. And basically, nothing is higher than a 1/1 until it's actually buffed by cards. So and
it wasn't just rogue deck that was doing well at first, right? Because I saw Regis Kilbin and this guy Stoats were playing the Druid, the Togwaggle Druid, and he was going off and playing a turn on turn 3 kill. That was pretty cool.
Oh my god, you're talking about that toast? That toast turn was crazy.
Oh my, that was insane. Yes,
I was like, I don't even know how he sees that line. Like that is like amazing. It was like a 25 move line that he made very deliberately too. He didn't even think. He was just like doing move to move to move to move to move, and then ended up with like crazy Jakar kill. I was like, wow, that's when you know the game really well.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good player, right?
Yeah,
he is when he wants to be. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that it was the first time we actually saw this kind of different nuance to that heroic structure that they have. Which, I think the entire community loves the heroic structure. Everybody loves the whole, playing, buying in, playing, there's definitely something to gain out of it, in terms of rewards and things like that. But I think that, what I was just talking about, where the meta can be figured out pretty quickly, especially when there's only like 1 or 2 classes that are obvious choices. I played maybe like a warrior here, and I think I might have played a mage too, like once, but for the most part, it was mirror matchups the entire time, like rogue mirror matchups.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The thing is with something like a heroic brawl, I think many people I follow on Twitter really enjoy it because they're the pros and they're good at them and they're farming gold.
Yeah.
But on Reddit, there were also like the more casual people were saying, okay, yeah, like 1 free run is fine, but afterwards I have to pay 100 gold to get killed by somebody who can farm me easily with a better collection. Yeah. So that paid entrance afterwards.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's only for a week, so I'm fine with it. Even though I'm one of those people who will get pwned by a pro, partially because I queue up the wrong deck. But yeah, it's
partially.
partially. But it's only for a week, so I get that people are sad that they cannot play this format more times, but it'll come back, miniature warfare, in just a free entrance form.
Well, it doesn't need to be miniature warfare, but I think that this whole heroic structure with the buy-in and stuff has the same issue that a lot of people brought up before, which is there's only one buy-in rate, right? And there's no tiered, there's no system that would inherently split people up. Like if you had a cheaper one, for instance. I think naturally the more talent or the pro or the higher skilled players would go after the high stakes one, where the more casual players would play the lower stakes one. Yeah.
You mean like how in another very good card game called Artifact you have 2 forms of draft?
I do not mean that at all, Tom. I am not referencing that at all. I can tell you in 100% confidence it had nothing to do with that. But I think that's still a big issue with it too. If they wanted to, maybe try to get more people to do it, but I don't think they have that motivation necessarily. I think they want it just to be the hardcores that are going after that. And I mean, what's funny about that is that you would think that it's somewhat of a gold sink, but for the hardcores, it's not a gold stake. They're making gold off of that.
Yes. Oh man, like they are farming. It's insane. Like like what other like Arena Infinites do with Arena. It's just these guys know construct it so well and adapt to this format so quickly. It's just like, yeah, I'm making 200 each run. I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at least it's not the 1,000. Remember the 1,000 one, the heroic one? That was awesome, dude. I remember getting the payout for that one. That was. Yeah.
When you're saying splitting it up, like I was thinking that you do the 1,000 one, or you can do like 150, or even like maybe free or something like that, and that'll definitely split people up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure, the 1,000 by itself, I think already really separates a lot of people right there.
I like how they would always do it right before a new expansion, so you use all your gold.
Yeah, that's right. Strategy, man. Strategy.
It's true. They always do it right before an expansion. There's a heroic brawl. Yeah.
I mean, it's on purpose. It's clearly on purpose. They want you to spend cash, man. So once the expansion comes out, but the miniature warfare, I don't really. So I think that's an interesting format to have, or like a theme to have. But it's not going to go. I mean, I feel like it doesn't necessarily have a lot of legs to it. Especially with just how, like the hero powers obviously play a huge role in something like this. And, we had like at least half the classes that didn't have a hero power that affected ward, and, or could clear anything on the board. And that, like Hunter's terrible, like crazy bad in this kind of format. So, I think that was like one weakness to having a theme like that. But what other theme would you think would be interesting if they allowed you to still be able to build, your own deck? Or, I mean, should it be a build your own deck? Should it be something that's like more random, like Arena? There's some RNG element to it, like Arena. And
I think if you're doing a heroic brawl where people can pay to enter and get high price, you have to give them control over what they're playing, right? Because then otherwise they're gonna feel bad about some deck you gave them, and they're like, well, I'm being robbed of my money here.
Well, it wouldn't be like you giving it. I mean, there's obviously has to be some choice. Like there's like Arena, you get to see 3 cards each time, right? So it's built. It's not completely just everybody just gets a deck they had no, they had no influence on at all. At least with this one, you can actually choose it, and you can kind of build it. Any kind of synergies that you've seen along the way. But that would just be Arena. So obviously, it's not that. Yeah. It's definitely not just choose the 1 out of 3 cards. So it would have, I don't know, be something different than that.
Yeah, I mean, you had the one brawl where at the end of each round, one of your minions gets recruited, right, or something like that. I think. Yeah. I don't know. But with something like a miniature warfare, a card like Alexstrasza is a must-have because it's just instantly 15 damage.
Yeah. I mean, Alexstrasza was not meant to be played on 1. I mean, that's the inherent flaw. That's the inherent flaw of the miniature warfare, is that some battle cries were meant to be played at a high mana cost. And
I guess that's what makes it exciting, right? You get to play it on 1.
it makes the games really short. I mean, it's like turn 3 kills, turn 4 kills all the time. Yeah. Oh, actually, Gotrix suggested a Nozdormu mode. That would be good. I think a Nozdormu type of just speed Hearthstone. Yeah. I don't think it would be different.
Hearthstone, sure.
It wouldn't be different enough though that it would cause you to build your decks differently or anything like that. But
I think it'd be cool though. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun though.
Just playing that fast.
Yeah. That would be pretty fun. They should just make a Tavern Brawl not Tavern Brawl. They should like have a week of allowing you to do that, in Tavern Brawl, whatever. And then maybe we could throw a quick tournament together. That's just like speed Hearthstone, and then it could be proof of concept for them. Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I think the last maybe something that'd be fun would be I don't know. I'm not sure.
You had the one Tavern Brawl one, which I really liked, is that there was a token sitting in the middle. If you summon to the left of it, you're getting a charge, and to the right again taunt, or vice versa, something like that.
Oh, okay.
I think that would be cool. Something.
There could be at least diversity to that. It's not like, there's clearly, there's probably going to be some minions that you can abuse, but there's probably a good number of minions that you could abuse versus just like Malagus.
Yeah, as soon as you change up the game's rules, there's always going to be minions that fit right in, right?
Yeah.
I really like when they did like the world champion decks. That was kind of cool too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Role playing.
Deck.
Yeah.
That was really cool to me. For me.
Yeah, at the World Championship, I played against Mike Donay, and he owned me. He was that guy is insane.
Mike.
Yeah,
man,
I thought it was, I was pressuring him, and nope. Yeah, he. To think that the Hearthstone balance designer is good at Hearthstone, right?
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
What a concept!
It's a revelation.
Yeah, exactly. No, the role playing I think is good. Any homage, right, to all the great players in HCT or the championships, I think is the cool thing. I still think that they should, put something that lives forever in the games for all the champions. Like the champions should be recognized that way in the game, and we still don't. I mean, I guess we do see it have a fire bat like at one point, but we still haven't seen. I mean, there's rumored that some of them were inspired by them, right? Like, wasn't there a card by that was supposed to be Osaka's card? And
yeah, it's Refreshment Vendor.
Oh, right.
No, Priest of the Feast, man.
Oh wait, yeah, Priest.
Priest of the Feast.
Yeah,
it might have. Maybe it should have been Refreshment Vendor.
Yeah, its flavor text was that's one world champion cheesecake.
Oh,
exactly.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And then Pavel's. What was Pavel's? I forget.
Was there?
I think there was something.
Chittering Tunneler, the Warlock card, the 3/3 that discovers a spell.
Really?
And its flavor text apparently is if you put your ear to the ground, you can hear I like to cast a spell or something like that. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Okay.
I don't know how it's linked to Pavel apart from mentioning Paveling book, but
yeah. I mean, I'd like something a little bit more explicit.
Yeah. And then for Tom, they had Phantom Militia, right? So
yeah. Oh gosh, that's right. I didn't even think of Phantom Militia for him. Okay.
Well, it's I think in the Taiwanese version, he got to do the voice of the card. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
That's what I have to do. I feel like every time I'm always just like, man, I want to voice the card, so I guess I have to win the world championship.
Yeah, man.
That would be a cool prize to be able to voice a card. Just anything that you could just live in the game, and have it just I don't know, just have you be an actual part of the game. That's a deserving reward for sure.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But anyways, yeah. So when it comes to the Brawliseum, I think there was a question about like one of our Q&A questions was should they do this like more often? I guess just to maybe generalize the question. Let me see what the exact question is, just so I can. It is Ahmed's question. This way, yeah. Should Brawliseum with different rules be a permanent thing? And I'm not sure what you mean by permanent, because if it's different all the time, then I guess like a different one every week. Is that what he's saying? I'm anticipating. If that's the case, then I think it would lose its specialness. Like the excitement of it. People would just get tired of it, and people would just stop doing it if that was the case. But yeah,
it's kind of nice that it rotates, or like it's different every week.
Yeah.
One and the same brawl like for a while is probably going to be, really boring really fast.
Yeah. Well, I think they would still have the regular brawl. This would just be a special thing, because I think a lot of casual players play the regular brawl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, the thing is, right? Should there be a new game mode introduced to Hearthstone? Almost 4 years after the last one was introduced, which was Tavern Brawl. I think it's time for Hearthstone to get a new game mode, but I don't think it's one of the priorities because they're focusing a lot on single player content this year.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love to see a new game mode, right? It's something definitely. I think especially for players who've played this game for years are ready for, because single player content's fun, but it's not what we're playing the game for. We're playing to play against other players and prove how good we are, or how good we are at deck building, and a new format could test those limits again.
Once they stop doing like the you have to play the adventure to get the cards, I actually just haven't done any. I have
Wait.
no heroics done. I haven't done any of the single player content. It's just not for me.
Puzzle Lab is so good, man. I think Puzzle Lab is my favorite single player content of everything.
Ever?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I watch people do that.
Yeah.
But I did not play it myself.
Puzzle
You're
Lab
just
was
watching
very
others
fun.
do it, and you're like, yeah, this is fun for you, yeah.
Yeah, Puzzle Lab is definitely fun. Dungeon Run is still probably my favorite because it's not perfect. Obviously, it's not the best rogue format you could do, but it does present a different type of scenario every time. But the puzzle, the first time through it is definitely like extremely crazy good.
Yeah, and the best thing about Puzzle Run, because I showed my friends who don't play Hearthstone, I showed them the Puzzle Run, but they love puzzling, right? So they got engaged in Hearthstone through something like the Puzzle Lab because they love puzzling and said like, well, yeah, if you like this, then
Yeah. Now that's
whip
one.
out your credit card.
The puzzle thing, the puzzle thing is definitely something they could do once a week. Like or once a month or something like that. Hey, this is the puzzle,
here's a bunch of puzzles, right?
Or just one, even
exactly.
just one, just like one puzzle a week. I mean, that's something to talk about, and that'd be pretty interesting.
Give a small reward or something. I don't know. Yeah.
So, Ann, here's a question for you: What would make you want to play that PvE content or one single player content?
I don't know. Just because like I play Hearthstone because sometimes there's a number next to my name that if I win games, they get smaller and get one. So if there is some sort of ranking system, maybe I don't know.
What if there was XP? What if there was like XP or something like that? Would you play for that? Would you play for anything like that, or is it just purely a competitive thing?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's just like it felt like you would do it a little bit, and then there's really not like a big reward for it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it feels like. It's like unless you do everything, like for the old adventures, everything, you don't like there wasn't like a reward, and I guess that it just wasn't rewarding. I guess it was just time to take out from time that I could be laddering. I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could see more stuff like the puzzle stuff, just because I don't know. It was fun to just figure it out. Well, I guess I watched people do it. I didn't do it myself, but
it's good. It's good streaming content.
They're like
that's
trying to think about it.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff is pretty nice.
So and you do not have the Arthur skin for Paladin.
I do not. No.
Dude, that's the best skin.
They're fan. Big.
No, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I don't have it yet either. I'm like one or two away from doing that. I never got around to doing it.
You plebs.
I don't know why, but in Hearthstone, like I don't know if it's just because the card backs were the original, the main thing that the vanity element to it, but I just don't care. Like that.
Oh, really?
It doesn't have that much effect on me. Yeah.
I'm the kind of person who, if you say you cannot do that too, I will go. I won't stop until I've done that. And so something like the single player content, which rewards things like a card back or the Prince Arthur skin, that makes me hyper competitive. So I didn't stop playing Hearthstone until I had that Arthur skin. Which I went to bed in between, but after 2 days I had it and it felt so great to have it. I literally shouted, "Yeah, boy!"
Well, mission accomplished then, because that's what it's supposed to feel like.
Exactly, and that's something. And I get for Ant, who is a competitive player and wants to be on top of ladder, not only because it gives points, but also it's like, hey, I'm better compared to other people directly.
Right. When you get the Arthur skin, you get to flex on people. Like, you want to play a game real
quick? It is a good skin. It is a good skin. The Arthur skin is actually probably one of their best skins, if not their best skin. But
I really like it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I know. Ant is a Khadgar fan, so we're still good.
There we go.
Yeah. That's funny. That's funny. No, for me, Tom, my personality is like exactly like that. It's just time. I just don't have consecutive time to be able to do it. So when you break it up into when you break it up into like an hour at a time, it's just not the same thing. So it's really hard to do.
No, yeah. To me, it's like definitely like, okay, it's released and then it's this couple of day immersion into the game. I get sucked in, and then
That's
so
awesome.
I can.
What was that?
Let's see.
I
don't know.
It's like a chair falling down.
It was on my side.
Right. But no, anyways, cool to see Brawliseum. It's definitely, this is the perfect timing to do it, because there's I think another reason why they might do it before expansions is because it's this downtime, so there's not. Really
for sure.
Right. Yeah.
So I think,
and that's I think the last time I was on, we discussed this with the other Tavern Brawls, right? The thematic Tavern Brawls, which were linked to the Risk-On's Rumble, which was very nice to give a bit more flavor. Just when we're kind of bored or
for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think if they're going to be doing anything else like between now and then. I might have to actually do a streamer showdown between now and then, just get it in there. Dead time, everybody's going to want to watch something different. So.
I wish they would do the 1,000 gold Tavern Brawl, because those are like fun to watch.
You're watching again.
You're watching again.
They're really fun to watch. Or if you're a big gambling person, they're also fun to play.
He likes to live vicariously. It's all good. I do that too now these days as well. So.
I'm sitting there.
I'm in no way touching. Yeah, I'm in no way touching the 1,000 gold with my own money. No.
Dude, I did super well last time we had. I won twice last time they did it. It was like, I was like, yeah, dude, this is good stuff.
I think in one of it wasn't the 1,000 one. It definitely wasn't the 1,000 one. But in one of the heroic brawls, I had so much fun queuing as Whizbang, because you just get a different deck every time.
Yeah,
and true. It was I went 7-3 or something, so it was decent.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay. That's good. That's solid. All right. Well, gonna move on in a second just to talk about the Hearthstone. Before we do, I just want to let folks know this episode is sponsored by ZipRecruiter. Those of you who aren't familiar with ZipRecruiter, it's a job site that is really great about aggregating a bunch of different sites. I've been using it recently, trying to find just some engineers to help out with some of the projects I'm doing, and it's been great. I mean, I literally just have to go to ZipRecruiter and nowhere else, and it basically pulls candidates that, or not even pulls, it shows, it basically shows my posts to these candidates, and then they immediately apply. I literally posted something, and I got candidates within minutes. Of doing it. So it's super great. And if you don't want to have to hop on a bunch of different sites and track them that way, you can just go to ZipRecruiter and be able to do that with basically a ton of boards out there. So the way you do that, guys, right now, the thing that they offer is if you're a listener of Valuetown, you can go to ZipRecruiter.com/Valuetown. That's ZipRecruiter.com/VALUTON, and you can try it out for free right now, which is super awesome. But highly recommend it, guys. I've like I said, I've used it multiple times now. And, not only have they obviously sponsored the show for a while now, and they're great that way, but it is the best job tool or job seeking tool, or even posts, or even just if you're an employer trying to hire somebody, it's the best tool I've used. So check it out. Again, ZipRecruiter.com/Valuetown. And ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. I got to get the brand.
Maybe Team 5 can use it to find a new game director.
Damn. Well, I mean, I don't know if they have an official game director now, but Chris, now is pretty much the main guy, right? The new Ben Brode figure, right?
I think
so.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I look at it. Chris Sigety, I think he's the official executive producer now. I forget what his actual title.
But that's Hamilton Chu's position, right?
Yeah, but I feel like Chris is the. I don't know. For me, I have a different regard for Chris because I come from StarCraft, and Chris was
right.
He's a legend for us.
Right. But, yeah. I don't have that background, so
yeah. But I don't know. Yeah. So maybe they still need, I guess, an official game director, or I guess it's not Ben Thompson or those guys.
It's gonna be Regis Kilbin.
Yeah. Oh God, how funny would that be? Holy, the amount of Ben Brode lights or whatever.
He's got the look already.
The budget Ben Brode.
Budget Ben Brode.
Oh man, some of the comments you see on that is just ridiculous. But yeah, hey man, Regis is a great guy, so I'd be all for it. I'd definitely be all for it. But yeah, so I guess they might be still looking for it. But Chris, I think Chris is going to do great for Hearthstone, and I think so far what we've been seeing, even I feel like this year you're starting to finally see like some of the things that he's getting a chance to have some influence on, and we're seeing change. Like the Hall of Fame changes and things like that. I mean, these are things that never happened before this year. And so we're starting to see some
and they even like they said they were committed to working closer together with esports, right? So that's very exciting for someone like me, who half a year ago was rudely wakened from the dream of having a tournament mode, but now they're working close together with nerfs and stuff. They said so. Yeah.
Actually, Ant, speaking of that, are you going to be grinding those online tournaments and doing all that, or
the qualifiers?
Yeah, qualifiers. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because NA's first, right? NA is the first region to go. So.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure. Like more. I'm good for the first one, for the NA one,
right?
But like for the other ones, we'll see. I probably will, just because like they're good stream content. It's like a huge chunk of time that it would take up. So I think it's fine, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise it's like you're just
it's just watch others do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You could stream watching the others do it. That would be, man. If you could get a lot of viewers doing that, then man, you've got some magic going on. Yeah, totally. All right, let's talk about some birthdays. And first off, it's Ant's birthday, so happy birthday, Ant.
Happy birthday, Ant.
Yeah. What does that make you? How old are you now?
I am 27.
Okay, so I'm still a youngin. Still a youngin.
I didn't forget. Yeah. I feel I always forget my birthday, like my age. I mean, so sometimes I'll have to call one of my friends because we're the same age, and I was like, "Wait, how old are we again?"
Really? Oh man.
I have to admit. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's like a little joke between us, because like there was one time someone asked me my age. They were like, "You're 25, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Wait, what? You're not 25." I was like, "Oh yeah, you're right."
I catch myself doing the math a lot too. Like I know when I was born, 100%, and then I know what the current year is too. So there's definitely been times I've had to do the math there. But yeah, so cool, man. You got any plans or anything? Like this weekend or this today, or it's a weekday, so like it's harder to do stuff on the weekday.
I was just gonna go out with my brother, cool. have a dinner.
Nice. Okay. That should be fun.
Yeah, that's about it. Nothing too fancy.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's fancy birthdays, man, are pretty much in the past for me as well. But not only did Ant have a birthday, Hearthstone itself had its 5th birthday as well this week.
Yeah, boy.
Which is, man, that's crazy. It's been 5 years. So I figured we would talk about maybe I don't know, our favorite memory, or just any thoughts or comments about just the last 5 years. It's been actually longer than 5 years if you count beta too, right? So it's been probably like 5.5 years for a lot of people. But yeah, it's so favorite memory. Yeah, go ahead. Or you were going to say something.
I was gonna say, when you're saying about beta, it's weird because actually when I started in beta, I actually didn't like Hearthstone, and then I gave it one more chance because I saw this like sweet deck that Raynad posted, and I was like,
"Wait, was it Zoo?"
No, it was like Weapon Warrior. It was like Aggro Warrior, and I was like, "Man, this looks so fun." So I started playing it, and I was hooked ever since.
Wow, this just in. Raynad created Ants.
Yes.
This is,
Raynad saving or making created Hearthstone.
Yep,
that's wrong. No, but your fondest memory. In the fact, 5 years. Yeah. Tom, go ahead. You go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I one thing that comes up is I remember distinctly when exactly I fell in love with Hearthstone, which is in the tutorial. You have a couple of games right against Hogger and stuff, and when you come up against Illidan, it says this fight is totally unfair. Blame the terrible game designers. I had never seen a developer poke fun at themselves before, like in that way, right? I was like, oh man, this is hilarious. And that was just when I got the charm really got a hold of me, right? This one, like, oh man, this is this is something different, right? And then years later, I remember I remembered that a game I had played one time had made that pun. I just couldn't remember. It was Hearthstone, and that exact same day, I made an alt account to play against a friend on NA, and I had to grind to the tutorial again. I saw it again, and immediately I was like, "Oh yes!" it was just. I just could feel, even now speaking about it, it gets such a warm feeling just thinking about that moment, because in the end, it kind of changed my life committing to Hearthstone as well. Because I've been writing about Hearthstone for almost 4 years now, and kind of build my life around it. So yeah, I definitely very much appreciate the entire journey the Hearthstone has taken me on. Yeah.
And how about you? Fondest memory?
I mean, it's got to be Spring Championships last year. Or,
oh yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
There's nothing that comes close. I don't think that just. I don't know. It just changed everything, and for me, it felt like, because I was more like, I feel like I was in a period of maybe like transitioning more to just streaming, because I was streaming a ton back then, and then, I hit the Spring Championship, or Spring Playoffs actually. Made it through, and called my family. They're all excited for me, and I don't know, it's just a big thing for all of us. It's funny because I don't tell like my family what I'm doing until like I actually do it. So like their phone call from me was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to Shanghai in a month." They're like, "Wait, what?" Even when I qualified for the championship in what was it, 2014. I got a Skype message that said, "You're going to New York," and like it was like that Friday, and I went and told my mom. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to New York on Friday," and her first thing she said was, "How much do I have to pay?" Like, no, it's free.
Yeah, it must have been like, "Oh wow, that's like amazing." Then, no, that's awesome, man. Yeah. I mean,
what's yours, Chris?
Man, mine is tough because I don't have any crazy competitive moments like that. I would say it's probably a couple things. One is, I mean, I'm in the same boat too, Tom. Like and Ant. I think we're all in the same boat where Hearthstone's changed our lives. Like no question, right? Like I mean, we've I built the show on here. The show's been 208 episodes into the show. It's like obviously I took that year and a half away from the scene, but still that's obviously the show's been like some representation of all those 5 years. But I think that the first BlizzCon that Hearthstone was at, that the one where the beta I think was happening, and they had that show match. It wasn't like the World Champions, right? They had like the one that Artosis won.
Artosis.
Yeah. I feel like that BlizzCon was like super special, just because a lot of the people that in the community right now, I mean, they were playing other games. They were known for other games at the time, and Hearthstone is actually what ended up making them big. Like a lot of folks, just to name a few, like Hafu, and I mean Trump was big at certain moments and early on in StarCraft 2, but he wasn't doing much until obviously Hearthstone made him huge. Raynad, I mean all the guys, right? And so I think being able to like see everybody together, at BlizzCon for the first time, and just kind of experiencing that all together, and just this new game that's like taking off on Twitch and everything. I think it was like crazy great feeling. I'll say that one, and then the DreamHack that went summer that a long time ago that I hosted, like believe it or not, and that was like the first time I ever did anything like that. So that was a great experience too, just getting a chance to experience on that. And I remember Amaz, everybody was like, Priest sucks and all this stuff. And then Amaz, back then was known for his Priest play. And he made a super deep run with Priest and all the crazy combos and stuff that he was making. So I remember that was like a good experience. And then Firebat. Firebat's World Championship, I think, was super memorable too, just because, we were all good friends with Firebat. And, that was back when Firebat wasn't known, he was... I remember I invited him to like play in Deck Wars, my show match series a long time ago. And, it was back when Firebat was not a streamer, and people just kind of heard he was practice partners for a lot of people. And that kind of like that same year is the year that he ended up winning the world championship, I believe. And that was really great to see that kind of ascension for him too. So, yeah, those moments were huge. I mean, there are a lot of them, but I'm just trying to pick ones. That
there's so many, right?
Yeah, tons of them. You know, and I think that has tons of them that involve like everybody in the community, the Blizzard, you know, team as well. So it's been 5 great years, you know, and being able to do this show, you know, you guys, this show's still around, you know, like it's a testament. And so this is definitely my longest standing show, you know, like ever. So I think that says a lot about the game as well, or just my love for the game as well. But yeah, so it'd be great for the people in chat just to kind of type out your favorite memory too. We might read some out. And Boca for Life says, Brawling book is my favorite HS memory. Amnesia being itself such a villain was so satisfying. That's up there for sure. There's no question that was up there.
That was the first and only BlizzCon I've been to. Yeah. But man, I was in the audience when that happened, and boy, was it memorable.
The crowd was going crazy.
That series, oh man, that was just insane. Everybody was cheering, standing up, and shouting, and
the crowd was crazy.
It was beautiful.
It was probably the craziest crowd I've ever seen for Hearthstone. Was that?
Oh yeah.
Because it was everybody was at the edge of their seats. It was crazy. Is that one? And we talked about this before, like pre-show. The Taiso Skaka match was probably the other one. But this crowd, but there weren't as many people there because there just weren't as many seats there at the time. But the one for Pavel, there was a ton of seats. I mean, it was prepared for a lot of people. Yeah.
I feel like that one's like the most iconic. Like I feel like people think of Hearthstone now who are like not really into it. They think that match.
Yeah. No, that was insane.
Yeah. No, but yeah, 5 more years. So, what do you think the next 5 years is going to look like for Hearthstone? Is it going to be the same? I mean, is this still going to be Hearthstone 1? Is it? What do you guys think? Still going to be popular? What do you guys think?
We're getting closer and closer to the Chalky Stone at some point.
The what? The Chalky what?
Chalky Stone.
Chalky Stone.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Yeah, he's working on it. Don't worry.
Get ready for aggro to
no. Super in 5 years. In 5 years, this will all be Auto Stone, and then we'll all be playing.
Hearth Chest. Hearthstone Chest. That's what we're gonna be playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
it's impossible to say, right? I think it was Kibler who a long time ago said like it's tough to see Hearthstone have as much longevity as something like Magic the Gathering, but it's still got like plenty of years left, right? Hearthstone, and they can keep on doing stuff. I have honestly no idea what they're gonna do next. It's such a mystery, right? Because every year so far they've been changing things up, whether it be introducing standard mode or switching to 3 full expansions a year. Now they're doing a 1 year long theme throughout the expansions. I think that's they keep changing it up. So I don't know, in 5 years, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah. I mean, I agree that they've been changing things up, but I have to say that they haven't made any like game structure change. Like the game itself still has the same UI, and I feel like it's still working within the same bounds of that. So I mean, I think 5 years from now, the game's going to look a lot different. Like I anticipate there's probably an arcade section, that's like a bunch of Tavern Brawl stuff that we can play at any time. We probably have a tournament mode. Like I
no, man, no.
I think we're gonna have a lot of like those things, and I'm still holding out for Hearthstone 2, man. I want to see a Hearthstone 2.0 come out.
Hearthstone 2.
Yeah. Hearthstone 2.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there's no other way to like reboot the marketing of a franchise without coming out with a brand new version of it. So,
but that's the thing with something like WoW. They can do new themes, right? New what's it called?
Yeah, but WoW's different. I mean, WoW's an MMO. I mean, that's complete. It's like coming out with a new game when you come out with a new DLC.
And with something like StarCraft or Warcraft, you tell a story with each game. While with Hearthstone, it's a continuously developing game, And I don't know, they might do Hearthstone 2.0 if at one point, marketing drops a lot and they think that's the way they can reboot it. But otherwise, I think
it's more of a marketing challenge, I guess, is what, like the solution to a marketing challenge more than it is, like I would say straight up game design, right? Like you're right. The way Hearthstone's made, it's made to be, I think ideally it would just be a continuous game. But I think that when you're talking about marketing and just what the nature of the lifespan of games are in gamers' attention span, then you have to like be pushing something that's completely new to their face.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So I don't know how, maybe they can achieve that without having the same title, but I think we're going to need that for Hearthstone to become, get its chance to be on top again, and then kind of trickle down again.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it probably won't be very popular, in
it's been around for a very long time already, right? For a video game, if you consider the competition, especially in other game genres, it's like Hearthstone has been around for incredibly long time. I
mean, to be honest, the first real threat has been an arcade game from Dota. Like that's right. That's crazy. Like that's pretty astonishing because even Magic the Gathering Arena isn't a threat to Hearthstone. In my opinion.
It's dragging in old Magic players, but it's not appealing to new players, right?
Right.
I've played the tutorial and that's it because I don't know, it was a mess for me, and I get that older players are, they nostalgic towards playing their favorite game from their youth again, but it's not friendly towards new.
It's not made for today's type of gaming user experience. Yeah.
I try to get people to like play it because I'm one of the nostalgic Magic players, and then they're just like, I can't, man. I don't know what's going on here. There's arrows going everywhere. Going back to Hearthstone looks nicer.
It's a testament to the user experience of Hearthstone. It's beautiful.
It's very good.
Yeah. I mean, dude, Magic the Gathering Arena is the best thing the best version of Magic that's ever come out. So like, it's good in that sense, the feel of it is way better than anything they've ever done.
I mean, it's not too difficult to top Magic the Gathering online, right? So it's
okay, that's true.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, tell the Artifact people that, dude. So, anyways, let's see. Top says auto chess is not new player friendly at all, though. That's not true. I mean, that's not true. I mean, any game, of course, if you've never played it and don't understand it, like the first time you look at it, you're not going to know. But auto chess it's pretty easy to understand how the mechanics work. It's just hard to master it, like the synergy.
I think so auto chess really throws you like in the deep, right? Like you're just like, okay, go figure it out. And everybody else you're playing with knows exactly what they're doing, or at least
not, who knows,
has an idea of what they have to do. But I agree, because actually yesterday I introduced a friend of mine to it, and he said, okay, this is a lot of information to take in because you have all the synergies with races, you have all the synergies with classes, you have the buying, selling, you have the interest, you have the gold streaks,
but you can start simple, right? You can just say, no, start off just look at the damage and just get the units to just have the most damage and just try to get upgrade them. And maybe just focus just on race synergies.
Right. But I think probably one of the limitations of it being a mod is that you cannot really do a tutorial or something.
No,
that's a big thing.
Because that one screen tutorial is like terrible.
It would help if you can the game you can practice purchasing and placing heroes a couple of times, because my very first game of auto chess, I didn't know how to place a unit for the first 2 rounds, so I lost to the creeps. I was like, what do I do?
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone that I know, that's their experience. They said, I opened the game, I didn't know how to put my piece on the board, and then I alt F4'd.
That says a lot too, right? So you definitely need to have some accessibility.
I didn't alt F4, no.
Exactly. Good on you.
So I don't know, maybe they'll learn something from that too. The unique thing about auto chess, I think, compared to Hearthstone, is that everybody gets the same thing too. There's no there's no like pay to win element to it, right?
It's the appeal of something like Dota, right? Dota is all level playing field. You only pay for skins, and same as what auto chess.
It's totally free. Arena battles would be great if we could do that, guys. It'd be great. So, all right. Well, anyways, 5 great years, and hopefully, here's to another 5 more years.
Exactly.
For
go.
Hearthstone and Ant,
Right. And we'll give you 5 more years.
A lot more in 5 years. All right. So, all right, we got new expansion villains. So they've been revealing these villain or these. I guess they're calling them villains one at a time, right? They have like the King, which is King Cogwaggle, the Witch, which is Hagatha, that apparently is thick with the giant thighs and stuff.
Thick,
yeah, exactly. Like, gotta give it to Reddit for those awesome comments. Okay, so who else we got? We got. Okay, that's exactly what it was called yesterday until I forgot about the title.
Oh my god!
That's so okay, so we got the King, the Witch. Shoot, I gotta go back and look now.
The Scientist.
Oh, is it the Scientist? Okay, yeah, the Scientist.
Yeah,
and the Fortune Teller,
and then they said Yep. So these are a little bit of a reveal as to who some of these main characters will be. Do you think these are going to be like heroes, or any idea? Like any guesses at what these might be?
I don't think they'll do like a cycle of heroes again. I'm not. I don't know. Just because there's so many in the game, they're kind of like they're pretty game changing. But I would like to see them as like new minions or anything like that. That'd be pretty cool, especially like Archie for Fom. That was such a cool card, and I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see it come back.
So what I think is right. Every expansion ever since they introduced the 37 new cards per expansion or something. Mm-hmm. They've been doing 5 legendaries for neutrals and 2 per class.
Right.
Yeah.
So these are the 5 legendaries most likely for neutral. I mean, that would make most sense to me.
So there's another Hagatha.
And that's a question I wanna ask you, because to me it seems very risky to already reuse characters that haven't even rotated yet, right? And Togwag was gonna rotate this year. But it's dangerous to have introduced those characters again, I think, because is it going to feel fresh enough if you have Togwaggle again and Hagatha again and Boom again? Something like Rafam, right? Someone like Rafam, he hasn't been around for years. So, it will be fresh. But I don't know.
Yeah, I get your point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel, there should be plenty of characters to not have to recycle ones we've already used. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
And especially if it's a year-long theme, I obviously we don't know the details yet, but if they're gonna have these 5 characters around for the entire year, I have trouble seeing why they wouldn't introduce new characters. One of the most fun expansions to me was League of Explorers, because we've got this whole new set with characters we haven't seen yet, and they all had different personalities. And I understand that they maybe want to establish some in Hearthstone lore, but already reusing Togwaggle and Hagatha and Boom. Boom we saw half a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, if what you're proposing is right, which is these legendaries, then you're gonna have a double Hagatha and a double Boom. I mean, because we have heroes that are in the current standard, so that's a bit strange. It's going to be confusing when you say Hagatha. You have to actually say, no, Hagatha the hero, or Hagatha the card, right? Or the legendary minion. So that makes me think that they're
not saying it's going to be wrong per se, right? Not necessarily, but it's dangerous because players might think, well, for me, the fun thing about me, I don't play WoW, is getting introduced to new characters, new sides of World of Warcraft. I'm like, wow, and I'll Google what the lore is behind them.
Yeah.
So it's risky. I'm not saying it's wrong inherently, but I know what you mean. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I think like you said with the Reform thing, like that one hasn't been around for a long time, so that one's probably gonna make it like feel fresh. But now you talk about it like that, like just thinking about it, we had Boom like 3 times already. These 2 both are in the same standard. I could see it being like a little like overdone, maybe.
Maybe they're adding booms so they can just crap on him and make him shitty. Like really bad.
Yeah, maybe.
7-mana 1/1, you know. Could be. You know, and again, I cannot stress this enough. So far, most expansions have been extremely fresh, right? Even the Boomsday project, which was very dangerous of being close to something like GVG. But the Boomsday still felt very fresh because they gave it a new twist. But it's I just want to say that when I saw the fortune teller, I was excited. I was like, oh man, you know, we haven't seen her in the game. Right. That's cool. And then I saw who was the next one?
The king, I think, was the
King. I was like, wait, but he's still around. He's been around for 2 years now. Are we gonna give him another 2 years in the game? And then I don't know.
Yeah,
well, I think I made it quite clear.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll definitely have to see, but yeah, it's kind of interesting how they're presenting it. I mean, I think these videos have been pretty cool. You know, I think thematically, I've never been a huge fan of. I mean, not like I don't like them, but I just it's just like it's cool. Just the quick video, just kind of showing that.
Right.
But I'm sure we're going to be seeing a few more in the coming weeks as well. If I don't know, if just their past kind of shows their trend here, we should be seeing more.
I'm excited for like the reveal videos because like the Witchwood one was so good. The Boomsday one was so good. Like I'm just so excited to see what's gonna come with the new video.
Dude, the Boomsday one was next level. Like that was I mean that was huge production. You know, like
I didn't know I guess when he was younger, Dave Kosak was a trained actor, so that's why he's like so good at these things.
Yeah,
too.
I'm not surprised. He seems like he would be.
Yeah, he's very animated. He knows how to do that very well. It's very fun, and you know, I especially have very fun time making GIFs out of those videos because there's always some movies in them that are exaggerated and they make for
good chilies. Yeah, for sure. But you know, it wasn't even just Dave. It was like the entire thing was. It was another level of quality that we've never seen from that team, and I was super impressed with the last one. They hopefully, I mean, they raised the bar, so they pretty much have to meet that bar with this one. We'll have to see.
Exactly.
Yeah, we might have to see Dave dressed as Ravam and stuff like that. Right?
Oh man! As long as Chucky's Dr. Boom, I'm happy.
Chucky or King Togwaggle. Oh man, that'd be awesome.
I feel like he needs to be like an orc.
Well, Hagatha is an orc, but you know,
doesn't got the thick legs though. That's
okay.
Who knows? Maybe.
He puts on some pounds for the role.
Exactly.
Leg days.
Commitment.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we go into some of the questions for Q&A, and we read one out from Ahmeden earlier, but we do have a question about you know, the reset that's happening soon. So Mandrew Braun from Twitter asks, what are the 3 cards that you are most excited to rotate out of Standard? So I guess we could do the 3 cards we're most excited and the 3 cards we're sad to see go. You know, maybe those 3.
Sure.
And I'm just going to show all the cards here that are, I guess, the quote-unquote important cards.
Yeah, the most important cards, right? The most.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously these are tiny, but I can zoom into some of these different ones. But all right, who wants to go first here? So 3 cards you're most excited to see leave the game.
Okay, I can go first for this one.
Okay.
All right, so my number 3, I'm gonna go with Branching Paths.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I don't know. I've been a big fan of Druid.
Yeah.
And this is probably one of the reasons why. I mean, it did so many things, and I'm kind of happy that it's not going to be here anymore because, I don't know, gaining 12 was very annoying whenever I played against Druid. You think they're dead, and here they go. 4 mana gain 12, but they can also be 4 mana draw 2, or 4 mana, like, pump your team and kill me.
Right.
Okay.
It's a bit too flexible, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, my one after that one, I'm gonna go with Void Lord because I've never got through a Void Lord in my life.
You should just play it instead.
No, I refuse. One day I'll get through it.
Oh man.
Oh man, seriously. Okay. So, and the last one?
My number one, most excited to go, Spreading Plague.
Oh yeah, that's
a
good one. That's definitely a good one.
That's caused me so much frustration over the past 2 years, and I'm very happy to see it gone.
Wow, there's two of them on the screen right now. That seem to be pretty good candidates. No, I agree with Spreading Plague, and it's really interesting that Spreading Plague is gone, and now that Naturalize is gone, like we're totally reverting back to old Druid, where Druid was super weak against wide boards and big minions. Yeah. And that was always, like, I used to love, remember back in the day in beta and stuff, dude, the Druid versus Shaman matchup was like the best matchup to watch because of the dynamic, like the two had, Shaman being a wide type of class, and then Druid, having the ability to ramp and having to, just which one would end up, beating each other out. That was always so exciting. So whenever Spreading Plague came, I was super disappointed when they made that card. So I'm happy to have a Druid that doesn't have that possibility anymore. All right, Tom, your turn. Top three.
Yes. All right. So my number 3 is Primordial Glyph.
Okay. All right.
And it's simply because it's not a card that sees play a lot now, but I think the concept of the card is pretty insane, considering Mage has access to the most powerful spells in the entire game. Mm-hmm. You just get basically. Most of the time you get, hey, draw the card or draw the effect you want, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was, I think the bonus you get of reducing its cost by 2 of the spell you discover was just too much. I think it's, I don't know, the card didn't, Discover is a great effect, right? I think most people agree that Discover allows for a lot of skillful choice making. But I think if your spell is decreased by 2 as well, I think it makes your pick so much easier. It's like, oh, well, I can just play this card anyway. For example, if you cast Primordial Glyph on turn 7, you get a Flame Strike, you can play Flame Strike immediately, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a card I'm a big fan of, and I think it's good it's gone because of the flexibility it has. It's just it doesn't have a downside.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Totally get that for sure.
Yeah.
All right, number 2. Which one?
Number 2 would be Ultimate Infestation.
All right. Yeah. Another Druid card. Yeah.
Yeah. I need to say more.
public enemy number 1, pretty much, or one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. It just does everything. So from the moment it was announced, people said this card is insane. It was insane. It's been around for its entire,
It's never been nerfed. Like that's the amazing part. They never nerfed this card.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It just did everything. So I don't know. All right. And then my number 1 card I'm most glad to see gone is Kaliseth, because if there ever is a card that emphasizes draw RNG, aside from Reno Jackson, it's Prince Kaliseth, and it was just dirty, right? It's never if it's played against you, it never felt good. You always felt like, man, he got that card on turn 2, and now you're on a, you're always at a disadvantage from that moment on. It's especially with something like big. Rogue. It was played in first, right? With the buffs, but it just set the tone. Ever since it was introduced, and only when some other cards got nerfed, it didn't see as much play anymore. But the card itself was just, I don't know. The effect was way too good for I don't know.
Yeah, the prereq for it, right? Like
exactly.
No 2 costs. There weren't that many good 2 cost cards, anyways.
And so I'll agree with most people. Like most people, I thought, man, you cannot exclude 2 drops from your deck. That's insane. Why would you do that? But it worked, and it pretty soon became too powerful. And I'm surprised that they never changed it.
Yeah. No, I'm not surprised they didn't change it, but I agree. Like I think this card is just too swingy, and I mean you don't have to do it. You know, like you said, there's not much of a penalty for doing that, depending on what class you're playing. There's definitely classes where 2-drops just suck, and that's why odd decks were even good in the first place. So
right, and even if a class had good 2-drops, usually it's like, okay, I can afford losing my turn 2 because my other turns are just going to be +1/+1, and that's insane.
Right.
No?
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so mine, let's see. I'm not gonna pick the obvious Rexars and stuff like that. It's gonna be probably hard not to pick. I think everybody knows this card sucks. Okay, we all know that. We're all happy it's gone. We don't want to talk about that.
This is your top 3.
Yeah. So I'm gonna choose this one. I'm gonna choose Shadow Visions. Like, yeah, just because Shadow Visions, it's just getting extra copies of Mind Blast or Divine Spirit Inner Fire. I mean, that's all it's used for. Like, people don't really use it that much otherwise. You know, maybe there's some weird cases, you know, you use it to, or some cases you want to get removal or whatnot. But I just think that's made Priest way too powerful. You know, just being able to choose the spell you need the turn before, you know, like is just way too powerful, and it's one of the things that has allowed Priest to get to where it's been so far. So I think
if it wasn't a copy but just directly the card, then it would be more balanced, because
that's true.
Your opponent knows what they can expect from what's still in your hand and in your deck, right? Obviously, you can.
There's just nothing bad about this card, you know. And back when obviously Spellstone is not gonna be here anymore, but I mean, even Spellstone, you could just like charge your Spellstone. I mean, it's just so good that way. So yeah, I think this being gone is going to be huge. Another one, just another crazy great card, Sunkeeper Tarim. I mean, just another card that's just never bad. And it's like, when is it ever bad to play this card?
Right.
You know,
and it's pretty crazy, because I'd still say it's maybe. Of course, we still have the Death Knights in rotation, but Tarim is still up there as one of the best legendaries in the entire game. Just the entire. Yeah. And it's not seeing play, and it's crazy.
There's just no penalty to this. You know, 3/7 taunt ain't that bad. Like, it's obviously bad stats for a 6-drop, but
it's defensive and aggressive. It's everything. Yeah.
But Ant, you were gonna say something about Tarim, or not? Nope.
I thought when I first saw this card, I thought it was bad.
Oh my god! Really? Oh man!
Yeah. And it turns out to be like one of the best cards ever.
You gotta love our Priest.
Pixar did his like best card ever bracket. I had Tarim as the best card ever. I felt like.
Me too.
I don't know.
Yeah, same.
Yep. I had it as the best card ever too. Yeah.
Yep.
Super good. Okay, last one. Man, you know what? I didn't even think about the last one, because I was originally going to say Rexar, but I don't want to say Rexar anymore, because I think the last one is probably Cavern. It's the Caverns. The below. Okay. I like respect the pro play of it, but it's just a card I just don't like. I've never liked rogue quest games. Like Quest Rogue games. They're just
You're in the majority, probably.
Yeah, there's just like nothing fun to watch about it at all, like for me. But I respect the fact that there are very, you know, difficult situations to have to navigate to beat it, you know, and things like totally, you know, watching Bunny Hopper,
it's maybe one of the most skill testing decks Hearthstone has ever seen, right? Especially after all the nerfs, and you still have to make it work.
Yeah. But there's nothing fun for me to like. I don't know why. It's just never been that fun for me to watch. So one of those, I think, more fun to play than to actually watch. Okay, so now let's talk about the cards that we're just gonna be sad to see leave the game out of these. So I guess we circle back, or maybe we'll let Ant go first this time, and then we'll go to Tom. Yeah, Ant, why don't you go first?
Okay. I'd say my number 3. Sad that it's going to be gone is probably Lich King.
Oh yeah,
I think this is probably like easily one of the most like well-designed, flavorful, just like all-around good cards. It was also like played, because I feel like a lot of cards they've tried to make like a set around just didn't end up being played, like Archery Thief for a Fom. Never got played.
Too slow.
Yeah, exactly. Lich King, playable, flavorful. I don't know. I feel like it just does it all. Easily one of the best cards. I mean, not power level ever made, but just like you feel good playing it, and it's a good card to include. There's so much to it.
The thing is, though, that before Lich King was introduced, they had to rotate Rag to the Hall of Fame because otherwise people would still pick Rag as their 8-drop, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Rag was Hall of Famed right before the Lich King was introduced, so yeah. Otherwise, we'd still play Rag, but it makes sense, right? Because the Lich King is a very cool card and it's still very powerful.
I mean, it's still good. I mean, and especially with a lot of the cards like Hadronox and cards that actually the taunt mattered, right? And was able to just be played in those type of decks as well. But I see Lich King as an upgrade or a better version of Ysera was, and Ysera has always been one of people's favorite cards. So this was an upgrade to that, and I mean it was cheaper, and it was a taunt in an 8/8, and it gave you just more impactful cards immediately as well. So I think they did an awesome job with that. So yeah, I totally agree with that one. Yeah. All right,
next one, I'm gonna go with Fungalmancer.
Okay.
Because
okay.
as an aggro player, I don't know, it has a spot in my heart, and every time I would play it, I would yell "mushroom power" as loud as I could, and I can't imagine anything being the same. I don't know. I can't imagine life without Fungalmancer.
This card was a good example of a card that I didn't think would be good. When it came out. Yeah, and this card is great. I mean,
I also thought it would be bad. I remember like streaming after the day the expansion came out, and they're like, "Oh, Muzzy's playing this Fungalmancer." I was like, "What is Fungalmancer? Are you making this card up?"
Yeah. No, that's a good one for sure. Definitely cornerstone of aggro decks.
Yeah.
All right, one more.
Number one, I mean, this one is very personal because it has to be Vicious Fledgling.
Okay, Flappy Bird.
Yeah,
Flappy Bird.
I mean, it got me to Worlds.
Oh,
there's not much to it.
That's true.
It's the only card I ever crafted golden.
Oh, it's your only golden? Really? Wow, your only crafted golden. Okay.
Yeah. I've never crafted another golden card. This is the only one.
Okay.
It got me to Worlds. Changed my life.
Yeah,
kind of did, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good reason to pick it. For
it
sure.
It is a good reason, yeah. But it is one of those cards that I think people thought like, okay, this can be good, and as soon as they saw like, okay, you can hit Wind Fury and then get another buff, and we're like, okay, oh man.
Especially with unnerfed Innervate too, just like, oh, you could play it on one, and the game probably ends.
It was
Token Druid was fun, yeah.
Definitely crazy, but no, that it was interesting because I would have guessed, and I think a lot of people were guessing that this would be broken, like outright broken, and it just walked that line, and never, like even most recently when I was playing the Rogue deck, right, it was never too bad, which was pretty crazy given how powerful it actually is. If it lives a turn, it literally is one of those cards that wins games, which is not very common, right, these days. So, it's definitely, in the end, I think it was a good job designing this card, where it looks like it's broken, but it ends up in practicality not being too bad when people can prepare for it.
Yeah.
Sure. Exactly.
Right. Okay, so Tom, your top three.
Right. So this is not exactly in order because I still haven't made up my third one, but
yeah, sure. No problem.
Oh yeah, you're putting me on the spot, kind of. But my first one I will mention is Zola the Gorgon.
Okay.
Because when it was announced, people were like, "Wow, why would Blizzard make this a legendary meme card? It makes a golden copy. It doesn't make any sense. They're full, and it's a waste of dust." And then it's just an insanely great card. It's just, who cares that it's golden? That's just the flavor. But a copy of a card, and it can be used. It's a really skill intensive card, in my opinion. Obviously you have situations where it's a no-brainer. It's on the bottom row and then left of the middle.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
There much like with every card, there's situations in which it's obvious which card you copy, but other times it's just, okay, I need to find another copy of this specific card because the situation demands it. And there's been some great games I had or watched, pro players when it's just that they're copying a card which no one else would ever copy, and it works out. And I don't know, I just really like the stark contrast between the community's response initially and how I don't know how much it fit Hearthstone in the end.
Yeah. No, definitely good. I think people just thought this was another Brewmaster, and it's like, no, guys, it's not. It's actually better.
Yeah, it's much better.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah. Number 2 is Defile.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just it requires a lot of setup, right? Sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time it's like, okay, how can I wipe this entire board clean with just one card? And it's just set up. It's one of the most fun puzzles in the Boomsday Project puzzles as well.
Oh god, that was a hard one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a very difficult one. If you do not like doing maths as much, you can always just go for what's his name, Lord Godfrey, and it's a bit easier.
It's Godfrey. It's the file with a body, basically.
Yeah, exactly. A double Defile. Yeah. But Defile I think was just a really cool card to see, because it's much like Spreading Plague. It had that repeat mechanic, right? That if X, then repeat the spell, and that was very cool. I just really like that card.
Yeah, no, definitely a great card, and obviously it was a huge part of the Warlock meta for these last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so one last pick.
One final pick.
Don't pick mine. You haven't picked any of mine yet. Thankfully.
Sorry?
I said you haven't picked mine yet, so I just hope you don't pick one.
Okay. So then I'll do an honorable mention, so you can still pick Shroom Brewer because of its amazing.
Brewer. Wow. Okay, I didn't pick that one.
That's an honorable mention, but just because of its attack sound. It's so happy. Oh,
yeah, it's so good.
It's so happy. It's so cheerful. It's so fun. Then honorable mention number 2. You just give me a heads up when you're ready, Chris, and then
I'm ready. I'm ready whenever it just.
Okay. Then my
real pick is
my third card that I'm gonna miss most in rotation. Oh, it's probably gonna be Uther of the Even Blade, because it gave us a new win condition.
Yeah,
and I think that's very cool. At first it didn't work out that well, but eventually after nerfs and after some rotation, it actually saw play, and I think we need more things that give us alternative win conditions and let us think outside of the box. And I think that's what this card did very well. It wasn't overpowered at all. Obviously, they had to make it very difficult to achieve, and they did that. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah, definitely good picks. Okay, my picks. Let's see. What do we start with first? Sad to see go. All right, I'm going to pick probably the most controversial one first. So, all right, Cube. So, Carnivorous Cube is kind of similar to your whole Defile thing. I think Cube is a little different because, where Defile was, I think everybody would agree, was a great card. Cube, people hated because of how powerful, right, it was. And the thing about Carnivorous Cube, and it wasn't really judged fairly, is the rest of the cards that existed in Hearthstone, right? Like the Play Deads and the unnerfed Sacrificial Pact and things like that, right? Like things that triggered the cube was the problem, and not the cube itself. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's unfortunate because Cube, I think, is a greatly designed card. Like it's one of the best recently designed cards that I think they've had.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's got that crazy awesome payoff, but at the same time, like the battle cry isn't always a negative, right? It can trigger a death rattle too, so it's got versatility and it's got potentially great payoff, and then it's a 4/6 too. So good card. But overall, like, yeah, this card I think still had potential, you know, even future metas, but you know, unfortunately, its run is done.
Right. And I think when it was announced, right, people thought maybe like, oh, we had Mode Lurker in One Night in Karazhan, which is 6 mana 3/3 that destroyed your opponent's mean and then resummoned it upon death. But this just opens up so many combinations. And as you said, right, it's just other cards that made it very easy to trigger, which made the mechanic kind of abusable. But
it actually might just be charged. I feel like maybe if it's like it's on non-charge minions. It's still like not that bad just because like you have a turn to maybe deal with it, or like you're not taking like 10 with Doom Guards, or like you know, all the damage like King Crush and all that stuff. So it actually might be charged. It could have been the problem with it.
I mean, we still had Hadronox, and then you play Witching Hour Cube, immediately refill the board, and have infinite Hadronoxes. But, you know, it's I see your point though. Charge is obviously one of the most problematic cards with Cube.
But so was it design restricting? Yeah, it was design restricting, but at the same time, you know, it's too bad. You know, I still would have liked to seen it be used in all kinds of other ways as well. Let's see the next one. God, this ones are kind of tough. Like honorable mention. I'll start with honorable mention. At least the Trailblazer is definitely. It's just like. It's like Lich King a little bit. It just feels good to play her. You know, like I can't explain it. It's, you know, value cards just generally feel good to me. Like I just have an affinity towards value cards. But, you know, this card wasn't great in a lot of times. But it was like one of the cornerstone value cards you could play during the last 2 years. So, you know, it's kind of sad to see her go. But...
opening packs also always feels good.
Yeah,
that feels so.
I mean, you open a pack in the game, like, you know, it's actually part of the game. That's what's.
It's like extremely flavorful.
Yeah, crazy good. Okay, so 2 of them. I'll pick some different ones here. Okay, one's Skulkengeist. I think Skulkengeist allowed to, you know, just the fact that it existed, I think allowed for the threat of people not to play some really abusive type of.
Jade Idol.
Yeah, well, Jade Idol, Combo Priest. I mean, there was a lot of different ones, right? Like over time that I think this card kept in check. Now, you know, like 1-drops or 1-spells are going to be, you know, running rampant again, you know, possibly. And then last one, I think Spiker's Steed. You know, like I actually thought this card, you know, there's not very many buffs, right? And we're talking about a spirit card that rewards that, right? Like buffing like paladin cards type of thing. Yeah. And I think Spiker's Steed not existing. I mean, this is by far the best buff in paladin, you know, more so than blessings and everything. So I think having this gone, it's going to hurt the paladin class quite a bit. And again, like it's not exciting, but at the same time, I felt like it was a pretty big part of what I feel like Paladin's built on right now.
Yeah. If your Paladin deck was even remotely slow, you played this card, right? So
or I mean, there's all these cards that, you know, the spell gets to be replayed whenever, you know, like Linessa, or there's all kinds of things that rewards buffing spells, and we don't have many buffing spells outside of this that are any good. So you know, I think that without this, all those cards, I mean, they better add some more great buff cards, because I don't know, getting a Divine Shield on your guy isn't like the, you know, probably enough for me to want to play Linessa, and, you know, just wasting, you know, those type of spells that way. So
I think Linessa's rotating as well, though.
Oh yeah, Linessa is rotating, right? Yeah, but there are other cards, right, that they're similar in vein. That
for sure.
But yeah, so lots of great cards. I mean, there's some, we tried not to pick the crazy obvious ones. You know, there's obviously Rexar, and I mean, you know, Janna. Like there's a lot of ones people have talked about, but this kind of just shows you how many great cards are being rotated out, because
this year was
crazy. Yeah.
No doubt one of the most powerful set years of Hearthstone, right? It has had a grip on the meta ever since these cards were.
I mean, these almost all of these cards that are shown here, outside of some of the quests and some of the, maybe even some of the DKs, but these cards were relevant at some point. Like most of these cards outside the spells, some of the spell stones too, but most of these, I mean, the minions that are here that were relevant at some point in the last 2 years, and that's pretty crazy.
And I think that in and of itself is not a problem, right? If a set gets released, that some minions are relevant, but the problem is that new sets just could not match this power.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it became more like new sets were more of a complement to these cards, rather than inventing, except for Baku again, but we do not talk about those two. So it's.
But were you not allowed to say their names anymore?
No,
absolutely
like
not.
Voldemort, Baku again, or the Voldemort of Hearthstone. That's funny. All right, so maybe any more questions in the chat? We haven't taken any in the chat yet, so any questions in the chat we can take.
Anything. It's been Ant's birthday, so maybe ask him something for his birthday. You know?
Yeah,
exactly. I would love that.
Let's see. Is there maybe one more here? Okay, so actually, Dustin, a Folter, or Elvix on Twitter asks, as a spectator, I'm concerned the specialist format is going to lead to a limited variety of mirror matches. Each match could be 3 to 5 mirror games. Would simply bring 3 different decks and queuing up your choice be a better... So would simply bringing 3 different decks and queuing up your choice be a better option? What format would you like to see for pro play?
Yeah, so I think that's something, when specialist format was announced, I asked a couple of pros. I asked Gia and Sodal, and I think it was Bunny Hopper. No, it was Soleil, I think. I asked them, like, hey, what do you think about these changes? And they all said it's going to be so meta dependent whether this works or not, because if you have a situation where one deck is dominant, everybody's going to be playing it, and nobody's going to watch competitive Hearthstone because everybody's going to want to win with that deck and just have the same variations, right? It was kind of when we had the, what was it, Handlock, Combo Druids, Grim Patron Warrior meta. Everybody was playing those 3 decks and one extra deck, and it was very boring to watch. It was skill intensive, but even if you watch skill intensive matches with all the same decks, it's going to be boring. So they said, like, if we can get a meta for which we had for the last 2 years, which saw like every class had some kind of deck that could work. Not all of them were tier 1, but all classes had a deck in tier 2 at least. Then it could very much work out, but otherwise it can get still very quickly.
Yeah, I feel like exactly the same way. I think it gets like probably a very negative response now, because I think most of the open cups are just people playing Hunter right now. And yeah, so it's right before rotation. So after rotation, we'll see like exactly like what's going to happen, how the meta will shape up. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Some people's like sideboard plans and that kind of stuff. Like one of the rogues that did well in like, or that won one of the open cups was literally like Pirate Rogue, and then like their tertiary deck was just Lab Recruiters and Pogo Hoppers, which is the same games where like people do those kind of mind games. I think can add some depth to it and make it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, if it's just the same like dominant decks, I could definitely see it getting stale, but I'm hopeful there's going to be more like mind gamey type things and like counter meta kind of thing.
And that's
definitely what I'm hopeful for.
Because I think that's what the dev said as well, right? They were going to be more hands-on with stuff like this, and they have to be. If this does, if you don't want this to grow still, you have to be more hands-on with, because pros are going to figure out the meta very quickly, and because it's it's how they make a living, and yeah.
I mean, it's probably like HS replay. Honestly, I feel like with HS replay, meta gets figured out like in a couple days. You just look at the top decks, refine those, and that's usually how the couple months just end up being like.
I think that okay, so the concern for specialists is the exact same as what you guys have. You know, Tom, you obviously talked at length about it. I think where it does have potential, what I'm hoping for, and you guys definitely alluded to it just now as well, is that you know, this will reward players that will counter the meta, and it'll be so apparent because everybody else is playing the same thing. And then when that one person like definitely brings that counter to it, he's going to be rewarded in a big way. Where, you know, I don't think it was as evident, you know, that people were bringing counter lineups, you know, when in terms of the average viewer, you know, watching the HCT matches, they had to be told that it was basically a counter deck, but it's not like clear as day that this deck is like made to beat what the meta is. And I like that. Like I like the fact that the players that are deck builders are going to be rewarded, and it's not just pure pilots that are going to win, you know, that sort of thing. But it's really risky. Like there's not much margin for error with this type of thing.
Exactly.
If the tools are not there for, you know, I would say at least 3 or 4 other classes. I mean, just total 4 classes total. It's just like a more like a 1 or 2 class. Then yeah, it could be potentially boring, and that's much more risky than it was with Conquest in the format that
I can see before. Like maybe because it's best of 3 and maybe like the matches are shorter. I could see it like maybe even the meta is like not that bad. The matches aren't as long as they were with Conquest, so maybe that kind of helps as well.
Yeah, because matches now are an hour and a half, right? At least.
Yeah,
usually.
exactly.
It's like an hour and a half per match because you have to do 3 to 5 matches, and now you're gonna have 3. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No,
it should definitely be more quick paced, and I think Sotil said so as well. When I asked him, he said like, so the matches are going to be quicker. So even if you have a mirror match, then the next match is going to be there within a blink of an eye, and you have something new to enjoy. Yeah,
that's not necessarily good. Like I know in theory, like that's what everybody's saying, and in theory it sounds good. Yeah, like if something's bad, then you can get it off the screen as quickly as possible. But it's like, why not just not have that happen, period? You know, like have a format that doesn't have that happen. And, you know, one thing that I'm afraid of, because we did do a test run of the format like a few weeks ago with Nicolina and Sidonia. And it was just so fast that none of the sideboard even like showed itself because of how the cards came out. And it was just like, well, what's the point of this format if the actual unique element of it, there's, you know, there's not even, I mean, there's a decent percent, but it's not greater than, you know, that's not like a crazy high percent that you're going to see all 5 of the new cards. So
that's very dependent on the archetypes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I guess you could have like heavy draw type of archetypes, but you know what I mean though, right? Like it could just be, it could look exactly the same. You could literally have the same match in 2 games in a row, and it's just like, oh, there's nothing to talk about there. Like it's.
I get. I mean, especially like if you have an aggro deck which wins on turn 5, if you just have the same 5 turns,
or you didn't draw any of the cards that were you know you purposely put in to counter that, you know, off of the sideboard. And I mean, that's the way they did the sideboard is super limiting too, because you actually have 2 decks that have 5 different cards. You don't really have a 10 card sideboard, you know, like you just have.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. So it's not even like you can pick 5 cards that actually counter, you know, what his main foundation, you know, archetype foundation is. So I think a lot of things are not from a practical standpoint. I don't think it will play out as well. But you know, in theory, it does have potential. They just might have to tweak some things.
Yeah.
Like you might have to like allow for 10. It's probably not going to be possible with adminning, but you should allow them to choose 5 new cards from the 10 card sideboard.
Oh, I see what you mean. And then the other 5 cards.
And then you can choose 5 new cards. I mean, like, you know, like that sort of thing. But, you know, if they don't do that, then I think the sideboards, the unique element of it will not be as effective as they think it will be. Yeah.
But that's another thing. The esports team said, hey, listen, we're testing a new format, completely new, and we're very open to feedback and changing it throughout the year. So that's positive, right? So even if the format does grow still or does not allow for the sideboarding to have too much impact, then who knows? They might switch it up. Say, hey, you have 6 or 7 cards, or do what you said, Chris. Like, hey, you have 10 cards as sideboard. Select which 5 you want to swap in.
Right. Because all the pro players like it. I think the reason why all the pro players like it is because it reminds them of like sideboard Magic, you know, or whatever type of game they played. But the thing is, sideboard Magic was never watched. You know, like there's no spectator element to a lot of those tournaments. You know, it's fun to play for sure, but there's nothing. There might not be anything to watch. You know, like in terms of making it unique. Where, you know, with what we did before with Conquest and the different lineups, you're guaranteed to see different matchups, right? You're guaranteed to see Shaman versus whatever. You know, like Priest versus Hunter, or you know, whatever. And that, I mean, that, if you think about that, that's guaranteed to have something different every single game, like subsequent games, where this, you know, there's a chance that you see literally the exact same thing 3 times. So, it's risky. It's super risky what they're trying.
It's risky. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. But it's gonna be, as we said, it's gonna rely on both the development team, the balance team, as well as the esports team, how they approach this.
Limited format, dude. I'm telling you, go limited format. Go limited format and let them like go at it. Like, you know, just, I don't know. Like they need to do something that's dynamic, you know, and you know, not rely on the meta to be the dynamic element to it. You know, something that organically changes like that. Because I don't know, the players abuse things, and they're, you know, like that's what they're. I mean, that's what they're supposed to do. So I
mean, that's what they're gonna do with Arena, right? They're gonna
and I think the Arena, like if they added tournament mode to Arena, I think Arena would be the main format. Like I'll go on record saying that if they just allowed you to play your friend with your Arena deck, that would be the default format moving forward. But you know, who knows when they do that. But okay, one last question from Twitch chat. Well, okay, one kind of fun question. Will Ant get drunk today by Go Trace?
Yeah. Big question mark there.
Percent chance. Percent chance.
How do you know he isn't already? That's the
question.
Exactly. If it was my birthday, I probably would be. Let's see. Okay, last question by Geo Revelo. What bad cards that aren't rotating might become good now that Ungoro and Frozen Throne are gone? Maybe not bad cards, but what cards, right? What cards will finally get to shine a light?
Now? Gee, that's difficult.
Yeah,
I almost need the same card. What was that?
I feel like there could be so many, honestly.
Let me see if I can bring up Hearthstone and see if we can.
Let's see.
See if I can bring up just the cards from this recent expansions. I almost need the same like card layout thing that I had for the other ones. I can let you see them all. Okay, here we go. How do you add one? Oh, here. I'll add a filter. Here we go. So let me bring these up. And one more set. So we got what? Rumble, Roscon's Rumble, Boomsday, and one more. The
Witchwood.
Witchwood. Okay. All right. So if I do that,
this is such a difficult question. There's so many cards.
I know. Yeah. But we can just kind of just kind of go through this once, and if we point any out. Oh, I think I know one for sure. Countess Ashmore for 100% will be played a lot more
because she's like
she's
what's
crazy
it called?
Good
Curator.
Yeah, I mean she's such a good card, and it's amazing we haven't been able to play her yet. It's nuts.
That's a good pick. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. Hey, how come Azalina's in here? I thought Azalina was getting rotated. Did I do this right? oh, yeah. Well, only what?
Azalina was Witchwood, right? So.
Oh, okay. I guess I can only do these one at a time. Anyways, yeah. So look through Witchwood first. We'll look through Witchwood first. Anything you see stick out that were bad? Or maybe just not played. That just were not played. That will get played.
Probably like a Rush Warrior stuff, maybe.
Yeah, with Rush Warrior
Darius Crowley, maybe.
Yeah, right here, Rabid Warrior. Oh, Darius Crowley. Yeah, where was that? That's a 5-drop.
It was a bit more to the top. Yeah.
That card seems nuts, but like it just never got played. Everything.
I think that card's pretty good.
Yeah. People were playing like Skull and 5 when you were playing Darius.
Oh, here's a card. I think when it was revealed, it's not a Witchwood card. I think it was Rumble card. It was the Akali's Totem, Akali's Horn, the warrior.
Oh yeah, the big one.
Give something immune, right? Is that what it was?
It gives immune to rush minions. I think that's insane because it's. Yeah, but it's.
I mean,
not
you have to have a board first, though. That's the only bad thing about it. Is that
it has stealth, right?
Yeah.
Wait. Which
you
one?
can play the same turn as you're playing a rush minion.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Which one are we talking about? Akali?
It's his totem. Yeah. So every
the totem. Yeah. Let me see. Let me find the totem. Okay. This is a good thing to talk about. Just the totem. It's like which one, which spirit? It's a spirit, right?
Oh yeah, the spirit. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Which spirits are actually worthwhile? Is it a 5-drop or a 3-drop?
It's a 1-drop, I think.
1-drop. That's the problem. Okay. All right. So there it is.
There we go.
Rhino. Okay. Yeah. Rush. Yeah. I mean, if you had a handful of rush minions, that would be great.
I mean, it has stealth for 1 turn, so you just play this for 1 mana. Next turn, you play, I don't know, your Darius Crowley, and it gets you have a 5 mana 6/6 on board. Or I think immune is an insane mechanic, so I'm quite surprised this didn't work out actually.
Yeah, for sure, I could see that.
I think it didn't work out because of just how many control decks are out there. Like it's too easy to remove all the rush stuff, including the Spirit of the Rhino. It was just too easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
It's really only good. Like rush is usually like the best when there's other aggro decks, and there just like wasn't other aggro decks, or like the aggro deck was odd paladin, where they would just make a board with their hero power, so it didn't really matter that much.
Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, I could see with the rotation it being better for sure.
Immortal Prelate might be super good again. This is the thing I was talking about. It's stuff that keeps its enchantment. Okay. If there's more buffs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the same as it's basically Lynessa. Like it's a version of Lynessa. Demon Bolt.
Ooh, Undertaker might be insane, but
Undasta, dude, Undasta for sure. I mean, that barely got played. Yeah, that barely got played.
It did get played, yeah.
It only got played in the very beginning of the expansion, though. It didn't get played again after that, just because the refined decks were just a little too good. This was on the verge of being played, though. The 5/7, God, I mean this thing is going to be played everywhere, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's a really good card.
It's a crazy good arena card. Yeah, this is played in arena like crazy.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think of Brawliseum? Because in combination with the if you scroll a little bit further, we can also see Talonji, princess. She's a bit further up than.
It's like the 8-mana thing, right?
It's no. So she's up. Yeah, she's just right above Brawliseum.
Wait. What mana is she?
If you keep scrolling up, you'll see her. Further, just a bit further.
Princess.
One, yes.
Oh, right. Oh, Princess. Oh, this one. Yeah,
yes. Yeah. So these two have this combination, right? Like if you the totem of the spirit, I guess, from somebody's spirit or spirit of I don't know the name of that totem, but every time a minion of you dies, it's shuffled into your deck as a 1-cost copy.
Yeah,
you draw them with Brawliseum and you play Princess Talonji and she summons them all. That's the combination. So I think maybe we can see a combination of that. I don't know.
Yes, but what 1-cost minions are going to be that
No. But if your minion dies with the spirit of the priest on board, then it's shuffled into your deck as a 1-cost copy.
I see.
And then when somebody draws them all and Princess Talonji plays them all.
It's definitely a cool combo, but it's pretty hard to get exactly that.
Yeah,
that combo.
I feel like since they're 1 mana, like a lot of times they would have like good battle cries too.
Yeah,
and you just get
could be.
Here's a good question. What in Boomsday is actually going to be good?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of looking through right now.
I'm
not sure.
Man. Let's see.
She's not going to be good.
Is Gloop or Is Gloop gonna finally be good?
Maybe Floop's Glorious Gloop.
Yeah,
The
one of those. Yeah.
The one man out.
Here too.
Luna's Pocket Galaxy.
Giggling Inventor is gonna be goes again.
Giggler Inventor. Oh god, that'd be hilarious.
Oh my god.
We saw that this week in the. I definitely saw that this week in the Tavern Brawl.
Maybe like actually some sort of mech deck, because like it kind of seemed like there couldn't be any even like sort of remotely aggressive or like mid-rangey mech deck, because Odd Paladin or like Odd Rogue existed, and with that rotation I could see that something like that maybe being playable.
Yeah, the mechanic synergy didn't really take off as much as magnetic. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, that's because there's no mechs stuck around, right? Like that, you pretty much want to play magnetic after a mech sticks around, because so you can get the immediate damage from it.
Right. Yeah.
I think that Electra, some of the shaman stuff we'll start seeing. We saw some of it with Peanut, but I think we'll start seeing like Electra and Krogwall and some of those start being played. I mean, shaman needs something. So
I always wanted academic espionage to be good. That card just seemed so fun when it came out, or when it was revealed. I thought it was gonna be good.
That card is crazy.
4 mana.
Oh yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's been plenty of highlight videos with academic espionage, like plenty of them. Here you go.
Yeah.
It costs 1.
Yeah.
Prismatic Lens. What do you think? Do you think that'll be played?
I could see it for sure.
Yeah, it's one of the cards I like most when design-wise when Boomsday was released, because it makes you think about deck building differently, right? It's like, okay, but how do I? Obviously, it's all playing Shivala Paladin, Shivala OTK Paladin, but it just makes you think of your deck. Okay, but do I want to reduce the cost of a minion in my deck, or do I want to reduce the cost of a spell? And that's really fun.
Yeah,
right. I mean, one of them will benefit heavily. One of them will probably be unplayable. But
right, I know. But the thing is, you think when you're building your deck with Prismatic Lens, it's like, okay, I need one of them to be insane. So which one do I be? Do I want to be insane? Do I build a deck with many minions and just one spell? And that's like, for example, Dino Size. And the Dino Size gets insanely cheap.
Yeah.
And some random minion gets very expensive, or vice versa. That I don't know, that your Tyrion is going to be 2 mana. And yeah.
I wonder if Biology Project will actually get played now. Or if it's if it's just too much, it's just too much giving your opponent ramp too. But Solarium, I guess Solarium is still played.
Yeah. I'd say I could see. What was the Druid card?
Which one?
I was like the one you just moused over. Oh, Biology Project. I literally just forgot the name, but I could see it because like, I mean, the shell sort of is still there for like the Auctioneer kind of Miracle Druids, but losing Natural is actually like super huge.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big one. Yeah,
for
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, when what you said. Yeah, when Biology Project is like, oh, but you can play Auctioneer and then you can play Innervate, but yeah, it's not too much.
Yeah, it's kind of where it should be though.
Yeah,
all right.
Sure.
All right, guys. Well, we went through a bunch of cards, and hopefully that answered your questions. But going to wrap up, though. I think I've had an amazing show, and I definitely had a great time with the two of you guys talking about lots. I mean, just expansion and all the reset, and everybody, obviously in chat having a good time as well. But probably want to do some shout-outs at this point. Tom, you want to do some shout-outs before we take off?
Shout-outs. No real shout-outs. Shout out to Ant for being a birthday boy, I'm still waiting for my piece of cake, so if we're done if it's not here,
Oh, don't worry, I just put it in the mail.
Oh, okay.
Put it in the mail. It's gonna be real tasty too. all green and
No, I think no real shoutouts for this time that jump to mind immediately. Just thanks for watching, and if you and I'm gonna do a plug. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I think my Twitter deck. I think you missed an I in my Twitter deck.
Did I? Oh
Chris,
my god, I suck.
Yes.
Hold on, let me fix it. Let me fix it. Oh my god.
No worries. You can. People will find it if they.
Oh, it's theist. Oh man, my bad.
Yeah.
I was like changing it last minute because
that's okay. It's no worries. So yeah, if you want to follow me and my content, keep an eye on my Twitter or on infantglobal.com for all the Hearthstone auto chess. I write about Apex Legends. It's yeah.
Auto chess. You're gonna
artifact content.
We talked too much about auto chess.
Sorry, what did you say, Ant?
I said any artifact content.
Oh yeah. I think
for the 5 people out there that
I have more followers than Artifact has players, so it's.
Damn, that's probably true actually.
Yeah, it's not too difficult, right? So.
Yeah, what is it down to? We always have this Artifact viewer count. It's so bad. But
no, I published my latest stats, I think.
Oh, did you really? Wow.
Yeah. I keep track. I still keep track. So it's almost down, like the player low is almost below 200. It's getting close.
They should just like stop it. Like, what? Why are they even continuing?
Well, they laid off a big part of the team recently.
Oh, wow.
Richard Garfield, for example, he's gone.
Oh wow, Richard is. Yeah. Oh man.
Yep.
Oh man, that sucks. Hopefully some of the others I know over there didn't get.
So the team's been shrunk greatly, but
yeah. Well, that's what happens.
Not a big surprise, right?
Yeah. When you have 200 players, that's a crazy failure. Like really, really bad failure.
Yeah.
But,
so no artifact content, and I'm sorry. I know.
Oh no.
That's why you. That's why you go. I know that's why you follow me. But,
absolutely.
Yeah. That's Hearthstone, auto chess, and a bit of Apex Legends. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Ant, you want to do some shout outs?
Let's go with shout out to Hearthstone.
Wow.
Good 5 years we've had.
Yeah, that's right.
Looking forward to 5 more.
Yep.
That's all I got. I don't know.
Hey, shout out to
I could plug my Twitter and HS
right
and
HS. Right.
But yeah, mainly shout out to Hearthstone.
Same here. Shout out to Hearthstone as well. all the amazing developers, designers, community people, everybody that's worked on Hearthstone these last 5 years. Definitely community would not be as close and tight if if it wasn't for all of you guys, and obviously the game wouldn't be good enough to bring all of us together as well. So awesome job, just building a industry leading game, that's really changed all of our lives. Big shout out to you guys for doing the show. Happy birthday again, and have a great time tonight, with your brother, and get drunk.
Man.
Yeah, everybody else, you can follow me on Twitter as well at ChanmanV. You can follow the show at ValueTownGG. And you can watch all the VODs from previous episodes if you go to youtube.com/ChanmanV. Make sure you go there and subscribe if you haven't done it already, because it's actually a new channel that has the same name. So a lot of people don't know that. And I actually moved all the podcast stuff off of the original one, and that's like the Streamer Showdown one now. So people have to resub to
those
that
are fun Streamer Showdowns. I really enjoy those.
Yeah, I need to get the next one going again soon. or the plan the next... Playing the next beating that Toast does on somebody.
Exactly,
basically.
That's the thing, right? Yeah, he has a great trivia.
I should just call it the final boss with Disguised Toast, basically. Who wants to come and beat the
I could take down Toast easily, dude.
Yeah? Seriously?
Are you inviting yourself to the show?
Like open invitations, man. Like, are you good enough at all the lore and everything too, or know the cards well enough? Dude, most pro players I talk to know nothing. Like, they literally don't know any cards except for the ones that play like every day.
Listen, Ant. I don't want to trash talk you, but you didn't even know that it was Priest of the Feast that was Osaka's card. So
okay, I knew it was the 4-mana heal card. Okay, I just thought I would refresh offender because it mentions funnel cakes.
I actually said yeah to it too. That's understandable. We don't get that crazy level of knowledge on the show. So
yeah.
But yeah, hopefully one of these days for sure. Everybody else, you can listen to the show as well, just on all the audio channels. So talking iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud.com/ChanmanV and Google Play. So just look up Value Town, look up Hearthstone, and you'll find us there. Last shout out to our Patreons. We didn't get a chance to go through them today, so real quick, just give a shout out to some of the guys that and girls that have supported the show over the years. So Ray Dan, Bryce L, Vince F, Alex F, Bruce W, Michael O, Michael V, Danny H, Roger F, Richard M, and Code Chemist. Thanks again, guys, for doing that. If you're interested in supporting the show, go to patreon.com/valuetown and throw us a pledge. Really, really appreciate it. But that's going to be it, guys, for this week. For Tom Matthiesen, Ant, and myself, ChanmanV.
There we go. Yes.
We'll see you next week. Okay, we're gonna make post-show pretty quick today, guys. So, got any questions for me? Let me know. But I gotta go make some dinner pretty soon here. But I do want to answer any questions. If you guys have them,